Hi everyone, and welcome back to another CF-105 update for DCS. There's a lot to show and go through, so let's get right into it. As you can see, we've made major progress compared to our last video update. The external model is fairly complete in terms of the fuselage, minus some smaller details like the ailerons being fully modeled and the rudder. All this amazing work on the fuselage has been modeled by both our main 3D modelers Knees and LazyLime. You may have also noticed that the engines are now added into the 3D external model, which has been fully modeled by Knees as well as animated. To just show the amount of work that goes into this 3D modeling, Knees had basically only two good references for the engine. That being the side photo of the engine, as well as this black and white photo I found from a video with 130,000 views uploaded 6 years ago. It was a huge random algorithm poll that saved us a huge headache. I'll also be dropping the video link down in the description if you want to go and check that out. Currently, Knees is working on the external model and all of its animations for us to move into DCS for programming of the EFM flight model in the coming months. LazyLime has currently finished the CAD models for both the nose gear and the rear landing gear. He also did some rudimentary animations in his CAD software to show us the nose gear in function. These are currently being added to the external model as we speak. There has also been some minor CAD modeling for the weapon system pack for the CF-105's missiles, that being the Sparrows as well as the Falcon 4s that it will be using. As for the cockpit, there hasn't been any modeling that has been done in a few months, as our main focus is to get the external model imported into DCS for the EFM programming. But there is one big mistake I made with the cockpit research that I want to amend from my last video. On my last video, I showed this optical sight and said this was likely the CF-105's optical sight. Oh, how wrong I was. After rereading the doc, I realized what they were describing was an entirely different optical sight that would have been only used on the CF-105. I asked multiple historians and museums about this, and they honestly had no idea what it would look like or anything about it beyond a basic photo scribble and a basic description. Now, I don't want to bore you with all the details to show you my schizophrenic writing, research, and math written in this notebook to figure out what the engineers were even talking about, but in short, the optical sight is basically a pair of binoculars spaced far enough to see around what I call the big fuck-off beam. Very scientific, I know, with an illuminated ring and dot in the center. But due to the way this optical sight works and an illusion created with your eyes, it causes an infinite mirror effect with the optical sight. Now you may be asking, but future, that sight is still going to be in my way for landing and is still going to make it hard to see. And to you I say, shut up. Because the engineers at Avro decided, hey, what if we had it rotate to the left under the glare shield so now you have full visibility out in front? Well, more visibility. While my schizophrenic research on the optical sight was being done, our other researcher Kraken has been doing his own research in regards to the air cart and power supply unit for the CF-105. He had been calling museums, Avro historians, and no one could tell him an answer as to what they were, probably because no one has bothered to ask, because for an aircraft they don't seem all that important in regards to the airframe. This led him down a rabbit hole about this Jeep that was plugged into the airframe and kept turning up empty. But this is when he had a breakthrough. The Canada was using the M32A. You may be familiar with this as it's the same one used by Heapler's F4 Phantom and meets the requirements for the CF-105's power startup needs. It also happens to look like the exact same one put on the back of this Jeep. Very cool. He also found the air supply unit that the CF-105 would be using, that of the MA-1A. So eventually we are hoping to have this modeled in the future so you can see your aircraft plugged into these during startup. This may not be on release, but as stated in the future. We are currently done with the majority of the research done that is needed for the CF-105. There may need to be some small tidbits of research for modeling in the future, but research will ramp back up as we start working on the flight model. Us as a team have decided that this will not be the last aircraft we do, and both Kraken and I are actively researching a new airframe that we hope to be able to present to ED as a third-party module. We want to be pretty tight-lipped about this airframe, so no more information will be provided during this time. I thank you all for sticking it to the end of the video, and I hope to provide more updates in the future in the video format. If you want to see more progress updates instead of waiting for videos, my Discord is down in the description below. There you will get far more frequent updates as they come out. Until then, see you next time.